Hey, hi everyone. Uh, my name is CA Vijay Kedia. Uh, this is my first video on my YouTube channel. I wanted to cover some important aspects related to ITR filing, which is Schedule FA, which stands for Foreign Assets, and Schedule AL, which is Assets and Liabilities. Schedule FA is very important if you are holding any foreign assets. For mostly for the working people, it's the foreign stocks they get from their company, and this declaration is important because the non-compliance of this schedule can cause you very high penalty of like up to 10 lakh. And also schedule AL is mandatory if your income, like taxable income, exceeds more than 50 lakhs. So I am just going to take you through how to fill these schedules, and I have already collected some data around it with some illustrative figures, so that it will help you to fill in your details easily and make yourself compliant. With that, let me move to the calculation part. So first we'll talk about schedule FA. Okay. And in FA, I'm going to cover the RSUs or restricted stock units, which you get from a company which is located outside India. So if you get foreign stocks from your company, you need to fill schedule FA, and this is how you can prepare your details to be filled in that schedule. Okay. So first of all, there are various items you can select. Like this item is A1, A2, A3. And for RSUs or foreign stocks, you need to select item A3, which is details of foreign equity and debt interest. So that's the first thing you're going to select. And once you select that, these are the details which will be asked, right? So first of all, you need to fill the country. You need to select USA if your stocks are, if your company headquarters is located in US. You fill the name of the entity, then the headquarter address, zip code, nature of the entity will be company, right? And then you fill one entry for each uh, each date when you acquired that stock, right? It's also called vesting. So when you say you got your stocks on five different dates, then you need to make five entries here, right? So so this is the first entry. This is the latest one. Okay. And you need to make the entry till 31st December. So whatever assets you had as on 31st December of the last year, uh, that you need to consider. So please note, it's here you don't need to follow the financial calendar, which is till 31st March 2024, because that is applicable for Indian assets. But here you are declaring your foreign assets and you need to follow the foreign country's calendar. So in this case, it's foreign countries US, and the calendar which is followed in US is January to December. So you need to only declare assets till 31st December. So whatever assets you acquired till you had in your account on 31st December, details you need to fill in those details here. So say the latest shares were acquired on 15th November, then you need to first fill in the initial value. Okay. So how do you get that initial value? Initial value will be the number of shares you received. So for example, I have written like six shares, you received six shares. And for each share, you need to consider what is the cost. So for example, here I have calculated this cost here. Uh, this cost I have taken from my broker's accounts. In my case, it was Fidelity. In your case, it might be Fidelity or Morgan Stanley. or whatever foreign brokerage you have. So this cost will be shown there. You can take it from your brokerage website. So you will you will get the number of shares and the cost from your broker, and then you need to multiply that with the exchange rate as on this date, right? So exchange rate on this date is 82.32. So how did I arrive at this exchange rate? So there is a, TT buying rate, SBI TT buying rate, which you need to use here. I'll also share the link where you can get those rates calculated, and you can use that for your for filling in this schedule FA. So I have used that exchange rate as on 15th November, and then I got this number here. Then you need to show the peak value. So how do you calculate the peak value? So you need to check what was the date when the share price was highest during the last calendar year. So for example, for Amazon stock, it was on 18 December 23, the stock price was $154.07, and the exchange rate as on that date was 82.57. So this is the highest, uh, like this is the peak value for this stock. And the closing value, you need to take the last working day of the last calendar year, which is 29 December 23. And the stock price on this date was 151.94, and the exchange rate was this, and this is the amount in INR, right? So what you do here is, for initial value, you take your cost from your broker, multiply it with exchange rate on the this date, which is 15 November. Peak value, you already calculated here. The peak value was 1271. You multiply it by your number of shares. Again, the closing value is already calculated here, 12574. You multiply it by your number of shares and you get the closing balance, right? So this numbers in yellow, I have put in yellow because these details you don't need to fill in. These are just for calculation, but if you calculate it in this manner, it will be easier to calculate for all of the vestings, and then you can easily fill it in your schedule. So here, same way, you like rest all the details will remain same. Even for next vesting, you can uh, put the date of acquiring, then initial value. Again, you need to take the cost from your broker account, multiply it with your exchange rate on that date. Peak value will remain same. You just need to multiply it by number of shares. Again, the closing value will remain same. You need to multiply it by number of shares. So this way you can make all the entries here. So say if you have five, if you got five different vestings and which are still there in your demat account as on 31st December 2023, you need to add the details of all those vestings here, and then you are done, right? So that's all is required from schedule FA perspective, as far as the foreign stocks are concerned. So now coming to the schedule AL, which is your schedule of assets and liabilities. And before coming to that, I just want to show you how I have what uh, resources I have used to calculate this. So if you see here, uh, I went to for Amazon share price history. I went to Yahoo and search for the share price history. I get the day wise share price, and you can take the closing price of that day to uh, calculate the peak share price and the closing stock price, right? And then for the SBI exchange rates, it's not easily available, but I found a folder on GitHub where someone has created year-wise folder and they have uploaded the PDFs for each month. and within a month you'll get the PDF for each date, and you can open that PDF, and what you need to do is you need to use your this USD to INR TT buying rate, right? So I know this is like a bit tedious, but at least all the details are collated here. But I have already entered that in my Excel, so I'll probably share that sheet as well, so that you can refer that for your calculations. Now coming back to the schedules, so now we'll talk about schedule AL, which is schedule of assets and liabilities, and this is applicable where your income, like the taxable income, exceeds 50 lakhs. So here, what you need to do is, these are the different heads under which you need to fill your details. So first is immovable property. So if you are having any house, land in your name, you need to fill the cost price here. So it's not the current value, but the price at which you purchase that property, whether it's a house or a land. And in my case, it's zero, so I fill it here. Anyway, the remaining values are also like illustrative, but I just try to enter some number here for so that it's easy to understand. So jewelry, if you're holding any jewelry, like you purchase any jewelry, you can enter the cost price there. Vehicle, again, you need to enter the cost at the cost. Bank account, you need to take, and please note here the details are as on 31st March. This is different from schedule FA is till 31st December if you are holding assets which are located in US. But schedule AL is applicable for all, if your income exceeds 50 lakhs, whether or not you have foreign assets, right? So this needs to be filled in with details as on 31st March. So this you fill your vehicle details. For bank accounts, you take the closing balance as on 31st March, right? And you put it there. Then shares and securities, yeah, and this is the head where all other things will go, because there is no separate head for, say, EPF, PPF, NPS, right? Because you need to declare your all this retirement accounts as well, and so everything needs to come under shares and securities, right? So you can get the details of your mutual fund. You can get a consolidated statement from CAMS or a KFIN, like which are managing your mutual fund. So you can get a consolidated report, and it will show the cost of all the mutual funds. Cost of stocks you can get from your broker, like the Indian broker, right? And then you can add the details here. So all this balances as on 31st March. And but so in 31st March, say if you have stocks worth 20 lakhs, but your cost was only 17 lakhs, so you need to fill only 17 lakhs here. Then if you have any like gold bonds or any other bonds, you can add it here. Okay, whatever Amazon stocks you have in INR as on 31st March. This, please note, this is not on uh, 31st December. This is on 31st March 2024. So that value in INR, again you can use the SBI TT buying rate here. Then whatever is your EPF balance. So here, since you need to show it on cost, you can show only your contribution and not the interest amount. So what I generally do is, I on the EPF website, exclude that interest portion, and I just take my employer and employee contribution, and that will be your EPF value on cost. So that you can show here. Same with PPF, you take only your contribution, not the interest, right? And similarly for NPS, if you go to NPS website, it will show you this is the amount you contributed, and this is the return on that contribution. So you can exclude that return part, take only the cost, right? So then, whatever is the total amount, you can mention it on the share and securities. And then once you declare all your assets, then you also need to declare your liabilities. But please note that these liabilities are not like any liability. So, for example, if you have credit card outstanding or a personal loan outstanding, right? And that will not that should not be declared here, because these liabilities are should be against the assets which you have mentioned here. So, for example, you mentioned a house of, like, say, 50 lakhs, right? And against which you have 20 lakhs of loan outstanding. That 20 lakhs you can show it here as in your liabilities. But whatever assets you are showing it here, and against those assets, if there is no liability, then you need to show it zero. So your personal, like, liabilities which are not related to assets, so for example your personal loans or credit cards, that should not be included here. It should be only against the assets. So I hope this will help you to fill this schedule, and it will help you to remain compliant for your tax filings. So please do let me know your suggestions, comments in the comments, and as I said, this was my first video, so I'll try to incorporate them in my subsequent videos. And also, if you want me to cover any particular topic, do let me know in comments, and I'll also try to cover that. Right. So thanks for your time, and please like this video if this was useful to you, and also subscribe and share with your colleagues. Okay. Thank you.